Labonte from the PAC Shop. Just because that said, it's James from Grant from Platt House and Adam Labonte from the PAC Shop. Hopefully they'll be able to answer all your questions. I'm first going to start with a land acknowledgement. So we're encouraging everyone to learn about land acknowledgements, and we have this one in writing too, so you can follow along. And at the end, there's a link. So if you don't know what land you're sitting on, if you're not in the Philadelphia area, feel free to click on that site, native-land.ca. Also on that site, there are a lot of interesting facts and information about Indigenous people across the world. And their interactive map works really well. So let's start out with this. And we as Platt House, the PAC Shop, and PAC-Exec want to begin with voicing of gratitude to the past and present generations of Indigenous people for the opportunity to live our lives in this space. Although we're on the internet right now, many of us are living and learning on Lenape-Hoking. We currently call this Philadelphia, but this land was stolen from the Lenape tribe, the original stewards of this land. In fact, the Lenape tribe had territory stretching Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and New York, quite a large territory. If you don't know the name and story of the land that you occupy, you can find the information and many other great resources at native-land.ca, and we'll post that link in the chat as well. So from now on, I will be monitoring the chat, and Amanda and James are going to take it away. And don't forget to ask any questions you may have. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome
Hi.
to Pre-Prods. Give me 1 second to share this. Cool. So welcome to Pre-Prods. They're gonna look a little different than they normally do. Normally we meet all our campus partners and go through your schedules and things, forms you need to fill out. There's still forms you need to fill out, things like that. Before we do that, I am Amanda Labonte. I'm the technical advisor for the PAC Shop. This is how you find the PAC Shop. We're on Facebook, Instagram, or you can email us. You can email me at alabonte@upenn.edu, or you can email the pacshop4100@gmail.com. And when you email that, it goes to both of us. So I wanted you, because Michelle's not here, I wanted you to see her shining face. The PAC Shop supervisor is Michelle Mahler. She's also on that email. So if you're looking for us or looking for technical advice or equipment or things like that, when you email PACshop4100, you get both of us. If you email alabonte at at UPenn, you get me. So just so you know, when you're emailing, if you're trying to look for somebody. And if you want James, he's Jam Grant at UPenn, and he is Platt House. So this should be pretty quick and easy. Let me get out of full screen so I can get you stuff. This semester only, there is no 6-week meeting or tech writer. Normally you would have a 6-week meeting with me to tell me all of your plans and your hopes and dreams. And then you would fill out your tech writer to tell me all the tech stuff you need and what you need in spaces and things like that. This semester only, we're doing a show form, and that's it. The show form has some tech questions on there, but that is the only form you need to fill out for tech requirements. And that is due 4 weeks before your performance. Whatever your performance is going to be, whenever you release that, your show form is due 4 weeks before that.
And can I jump in right here?
Sure can.
I wanted to let you all know that this has been a crazy summer and fall. So a lot of the things that you may have questions about probably have already been answered, because we've had the town hall, we've had various other points of contact with you. So don't think that this will be a lot of new information for many of you. If you've been to all of those, this is just going to feel a little bit more like a formalized, coalesced version of what we've been talking about. So if that is the case, don't feel like you may be missing something. We've been with you the entire time. So I also want to make sure that you think about this as because there's so much moving around, that we are doing a little bit more in handing you things that are kind of fully made, instead of saying, hey, you're making your own show, you can make everything. And that's to make sure that we can really support you in a very different semester than what we're used to.
Yeah. So this is what the show form is going to look like. It will eventually be posted and emailed out. It is still in, not necessarily its infancy, but maybe its teenage years. We're still working it out. So pretty simple. And a lot of this is just so we can market your show. So we can get the word out and let everyone know, hey, your group has a show. People should go see it. The tech part, which is
before we get to the tech part, another thing to think about for your groups, especially if you aren't putting out something that's like performance X. If you're just releasing content and things like that, you could use this form if you wanted to, if you feel like you're doing a content push in a way that's very specific and like would have its own marketing around it. But if you're doing regular content, please be in touch with Platt House about, hey, we just put up this new video, because this is more for like, you're doing a production. But if you're really just regularly releasing content, we still want to be able to push that out for you.
So your tech questions, again, this is kind of evolving. So how are you releasing your performance? Are you live streaming it? Is it pre-recorded? Are you doing a Zoom? Are you doing a podcast? Are you doing something we didn't think of? Do you need assistance editing your project? That's not necessary to say that we will edit your project, but we will help you find someone to edit your project.
And that is covered in your production costs. So that is not new money. Like, you don't have to go looking for it.
Yep. And then if you have an editor, who your editor is or who's managing your live stream, because if you have a live stream, you need someone to click the buttons and make sure things are going smoothly behind the scenes, and editing your audio if you have someone. So if you're an ACT group or a DAC group, really any of them, if you have something that is separate from your video, or you want to layer something in, something to that effect, who is editing it. And that's really just for our record, so we can possibly reach out to that person again and be like, hey, you edited this, can we borrow you? Would you be interested? You know, so show form, short and simple, a lot less form than other years.
And one more thing on the tech side is, if you are going to be grabbing any sort of, someone in some place needs this thing, there are so many, and you're going to buy it and you're going to be thinking about using your SAC funds, there are so many extra hoops to jump through that in a regular year, you could just talk to Danielle and say, hey, Danielle, we're doing this. And that's that. Now everything needs a decision tied to it. And to keep you from having to basically be like, and Danielle can't make that decision. So because of that, email Amanda about anything that is electronic or technical, and basically something where you would think that Amanda would need to know about it or could offer insight on it. Anything that's more like contractual or like a logistical, in the sense of like, we need to see if we can get this to someone, that's going to be me. But between the two of us, it's pretty much anything that happens between your production, we can get the right person to okay whatever it is.
Yeah, basically, if you would request it from me anyways, still ask me about it. So microphones, cameras, anything electronic, any kind of software you want to use, all of that would go through me. So then technical resources, we started this page, it's right on the PAC Shop website. And I've been putting up stuff as I find it, so it is always evolving. But there are some software resources, some instructional videos, some video resources for like editing or using a green screen, where to find some background images if you need that, as well as audio and streaming resources. If you find something that you love, let us know. We are happy to spread the word. So that's a great resource. So check there first before you email me, because I might say, hey, just go check at that. But obviously it's not comprehensive and stuff is changing all the time. So your production outline, your timeline, I can go back to big. Your timeline for doing a virtual production, I'm talking full-fledged production, not just like a little clip you're releasing, but something big. It's going to be pretty much the same as if you were doing one in person. You're still going to need about 6 weeks to get it through. And these are just kind of rough guidelines. Decide on your project. So if you're a DAC group, what dances are you doing? What's the scope of your project? If you're an ACT group, how many songs are you doing? Are you releasing a compilation? Are you doing just one single thing? Tacky groups, are you doing a show, etc. And then create a script breakdown. And that's not necessarily you have a script and you're making a breakdown for something that's already written. It's what do you need for your project? What do you need for cameras? What do you need for lighting? What do you need? Do you need an audio editor? Do you need a video editor? What things do you need to make this project actually happen? Check your budget and make sure you get those requests in to make sure they get approved. Decide what equipment you'll use. Is everyone just going to use their webcam, or are you going to use your iPhones? Honestly, most of your phones are going to do what you want it to anyways without having a big fancy camera. There's lots of ways to make your camera just as good, the camera on your phone just as good as a big fancy like 4K camera. And does everyone have the equipment they need? Because someone might not have a webcam, or might have a broken webcam or a broken phone, because I drop mine all the time. And then create your schedule outline. So that's not necessarily a production schedule, but that's the like rough outline of like, okay, we're decided to do this project. We want it to go out in November. Cool. What do we need to make happen? How long do we need stuff? When is everyone available? Because everyone has classes and things like that. So can we get these 3 people that we need to be in a Zoom call to talk to each other at the same time? Review everything and make sure you didn't miss anything, and then create your production schedule and figure out all those nitty-gritty details that you need. Create your project. This is the time to innovate. James, do you have more on that?
Yes. Because this is a general production outline that's a little bit tailored for our pandemic reality, I do want to also mention that you're going to get to points where you're like, I don't know what to do next. There is, yes, come ask us, but there is, hey, I would like to try this. We welcome that as well, as long as it's within the student campus compact. And we are also, if you have line calls, you're like, well, if we do this in this way, is that really violating the student campus compact? Come ask us. Like that is, we literally sit around our staff meetings saying, this, if they do it this way, it's okay. If they don't do it that way, then we need to ask someone else. So we're not asking you to be out there on your own coming up with this production outline. You can involve us as much or as little as you like, and we really welcome that. But we're also saying we're really focusing on still being a resource. So if there's something that you're like, they did this in New York in like the 90s, and I think this might be applicable for a asynchronous production, but I don't know how to make that work. That's where we would love to have a conversation with you and really start helping you cobble that together.
Yeah, and the cool thing right now is you guys are the first ones doing this. You're the first ones in this situation to do this. So whatever you create is going to be awesome, and you're going to have bumps and bruises, but you can really do a lot of things. And like I said, the technology is changing every day. There's a new resource coming out, or a new, hey, we did it this way. So you got lots of stuff. And then editing your project, leave time to edit. I'll say that again. Leave time to edit. You are going to want to give your people who are editing as much time as humanly possible. And also, side note on that is that if you have one person editing a 2-hour video, that is going to take a lot of time. And your production, which normally is a big group all coming together and in one space, is now coming down to that one person's ability to get it out. So be kind to them and help them out. I recommend not having one person do it all. Review your piece and then release it. Easy peasy. And then just go ahead, James.
And we have a couple of questions that have come up, and I just want to pull the 2 that I see because it's on the topic of editing. Thank you, Zoe. How do you connect with visual sound? This semester, because it is a different sort of thing, There is no direct connection to visual sound that we want you to take, because they're literally everything has to get approved again. So it comes right back to us. So just email Amanda first and just say, hey, these are all the things that we need, because we can literally go through the list and be like, all right, that's approved, that's not approved. We need this information for this. So as much as possible, only for this year. We don't know how it's going to be next semester or anything else. This is how it's going to be. But we are not doing this to basically impose ourselves on your process. We're literally trying to say, you don't realize how many boxes need to be checked now. So we're going to check them all for you and just get you the answer.
Yes, absolutely. When in doubt, email me and I'll send you in the right direction.
And then the from Kayla, does anyone have any recommendations of user-friendly vocal music or recording apps? I hope you saw the content page, but also there is a Platt House virtual resources newsletter that goes out. So if you check your email, if you've been receiving those, there are a lot of evolving resources in there. Yes,
and right now I'm exploring Soundtrap, which is a pretty great music. It's an app, it's software designed specifically for music, storytelling, podcasts, things like that. I'm just trying to figure out how to get it so that multiple groups can use it. So within the next week or so, I should have answers for that. But that is super user-friendly. You can actually collaborate with people and have a video chat with them while you're editing and while you're recording and things like that. So there are lots of resources. And like I said, they are coming. And then the final thing is just some things to remember. This is new to everyone. We haven't had to do this before. So that's exciting and new, but also this is new to everyone. So it's also a little terrifying. So be patient. We're working on it. We're figuring it out just like you guys are. Again, editing takes a long time. Leave time. I've heard from a lot of techs like, oh, I can't do tech because that tech role doesn't exist anymore. I can't build a set. But yes, you can't necessarily build a set. You can certainly design a set and have someone else build it in their home, which is almost as fun, having them all the Amazon boxes they can and build a castle or something. But there are a lot of roles that are new and a lot of ones that still exist. So now you might need a continuity person who makes sure everyone's wearing the same shirt and has the same blueberry muffin or the same knife in 2 scenes, or whatever it is. And there's lots of, like I said, lots of editing opportunities. There's lots of positions now, if you look in the film world, that are opening up because we're doing something different. Talk to each other. Other groups or subcommittees might have the answer. Even though you might be a tacky group, your DAC group might be like, hey, we did this thing and it worked. And the tacky group's like, oh yeah, wait, we could also do that thing and it would work. So talk to each other, because you guys are gonna find stuff probably faster than I will, because there's just numbers of you. There's lots of you looking as opposed to just be looking. And that's the same. New resources are available all the time. Let us know if you find something awesome, if you find something you want to share, anything like that. I'm gonna stop screen sharing so I can see the chat window again.
There's one question. I just lost it now. Do you see it? I just lost it.
Yes. Cynthia has a
library,
question.
yeah.
Oh, do you know if the library is still doing camera or equipment rentals? I actually don't. I know that they're doing some sorts of things, but that's going to be mainly on their website. I haven't checked it. Do you have any knowledge of that, Amanda?
I don't believe they are, but I am not 100% sure. I could certainly email them and find out for you.
And then I want to really grab Olvin's question, because we get this a lot. This would be my first time. My group might plan to do this, but are we allowed to have virtual activities, a practice over winter break? Just wasn't sure if official activities are limited to the school semester calendar. Please, please, please check the student compact often-ish. because there is a lot of stuff in there that evolves with new information that comes out about, you know, virus and protection and just campus policies. But where we've really drawn our line on this is to advise you is if you are doing an event as a group, that now then becomes an activity. So you can't then do certain things because you are now actively congregating as a group, which is against the Student Campus Compact. But please do not think that that means that you can't figure out how to film a scene or something like that, because there's a lot of things that you can do. In fact, a lot of scenes are actually filmed one-sided and then just edited together. So there's a lot that you can do to still get a cohesive final product that may just be you actually isolating different parts of the production and having to just do it, assemble it in post. But we are here to help you with that, and we are even here to help you problem solve through that. So don't think that this is, and I really want to bring up Lori in this because she talks about this. We want to say yes. We really want to say yes. So please help us. Like, don't ask us to bend a rule. If you can find a way for us to be like, this checks all these boxes so we can do this, there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to do this. We just want to check with you this, and then we can be like, yes, and we know about it. So if anyone asks us about it, we can say, yes, no, they're totally being above board. We know about that. So just be mindful that Platt House does not make the decisions, nor do we rule on them, but we can definitely make sure that we are helping you stay out of any sort of disciplinary or adverse consequence to you actually putting on your shows.
Yeah, but James, if it's, as long as it's virtual, it would fall into the category like if they were having a boot camp before classes began or things like that. As long as it's not mandatory and it's virtual, groups can have their activities during a break.
That was news to me, and that's good to know. See, and that's literally how it happens. We were like, I thought it was this thing last 2 weeks ago, and it's something different. But yes, so during breaks, you are good to go. And because I know this will be a question, we have nothing to tell you about the spring. Much like over the summer, as soon as we get a university notification the same way that you do. So when you read it, we have just probably read it. So give us a couple of days to figure out how that will affect us and how it will affect you, but we will definitely tell you as soon as that a campus notification is sent out.
I just have one more thing to add, and then I think I'm out of content. Even though you don't have 6-week meetings, if you want to email me and set up a time to Zoom and talk through your project, go for it. A lot of stuff happens in that 6-week meeting of people thinking through how things are actually going to happen, that you might need someone to bounce it off of that's either not your group, or your whole group might be like, wait, we want to do this, but we're not sure how. Feel free to email me and say, hey, do you have 10 minutes? Do you have an hour? We want to run this by you. We want to chat your ear off. I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to help you figure it out and throw stuff your way. So even though you don't necessarily have a 6-week meeting this semester, please feel free to use me. Feel free to use the PAC Shop. Email us. We will get back to you as soon as we can, and we're happy to help you create something.
And I don't have extra content.
Oh, and if you have specific tech questions, tomorrow at 4:45 is tech hour. And that's, you can drop in and ask me anything. Me and myself and Hannah PAC will be there, who's your tech exec chair. So if you have anything you want to run by, or you're curious about something, or you need help with anything, that's when you can drop in, and we'll help with more specific technical questions.
So the chat box is, I think we're caught up on questions, but if anyone else has any production related questions that have come up, or you still have, remember that following this is untangling rights. And untangling rights is for it, where we've designed it so if you know nothing about rights and you just know that you need to get them, that's about where we start. And we don't get too involved, but we tell you when you're going to need something, an involved answer. So what you do when you get to that juncture. I think we have a question from Ewan. Just to confirm, will we be able to rent cameras and other AV equipment from the PAC Shop?
The PAC Shop does not currently have cameras or microphones that are compatible with your computer. You would need an interface, which we don't have to give out, but we can help you walk through. So if you're like, hey, we need this, but we're not sure where to get it or how to get it, just send me an email and I will help you out.
And just to unpack some of that, just so you can hear what happens behind the scenes, you talk to Amanda, Amanda talks to Danielle, or whomever needs to say something about the expenditure and what type it is. We all talk about it, and then we say, okay, that expenditure fits this type of thing. So if it's something that you would have incurred to put on the show in almost at any time, but specifically now, it's usually covered by your production budget, but we just need someone to say that. Welcome.
All right, I think that's it for us. If you have any more questions, drop them in the chat. If you want to go to the rights thing, please leave the link and come back in. That way we can start fresh and enjoy the rest of PAC Con.
Thanks for coming out, y'all. And just as a final thing, if anyone came in late, please put your name and PAC group in the chat box, just so we have a record. Oh, there's a question. Is there a way to...
Screen share. So you want to go through OBS, which is broadcasting software. It's pretty user friendly, and there's lots of user videos and guides on how to use it. But that would help with the lag if you're trying to do something. It sort of depends on what you're trying to do. If it's something that you just want to share with your group versus if it's something that's like part of your performance. But I would check out OBS. It's on the Tech Resources webpage.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? Because I got kicked off of Zoom and then I just came back.
Sure. So you want to look at OBS. It's on the Tech Resources page on the PAC Shop. It's basically a broadcasting software. So it's like having a live switcher if you had actual cameras. So check that out first. And then if that's not doing what you want it to, email me and let me know.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Good job, guys.